What's happening? Y'all tapping in, see y'all tapping in. Let's go. What we doing right here? Y'all check it out. Welcome to 414. Pull up. It's your boy Ghetto Child. We do some reactionary videos for one of my favorite groups, dog. Let me know how y'all feel. We live on every platform, y'all. So check it out. Hope y'all enjoy this segment. Let's go. Yes, sir. Welcome to 414. Pull up. Y'all know how we do things, right?
Turn it up, turn it up. Turn it up, Ghana Nation in the cut.
Hit play, whole city get live. From the lakefront all the way west side. Got the inbox full of them brand new joints. If it ain't from the walk, it don't get to shine. Small biz popping up on the block. Got the grand opening all over the clock. We the one put your name in their face from a back room dream to a front page place. Line blowing up when the night get late. Every entrepreneur trying to elevate. Got the artists in the lab trying to make that break. With the bridge, with the booth, we the home base gate. This that grinding nation. Home Milwaukee on rotation. From the hustle to the station. We the sound of elevation. This that grinding nation. Turn the side job to a payday. From the basements to the main stage. We the sound of elevation. Hey, every color like spin that heat. Got the north side jumping downtown on repeat. Got the barbers, bakers, fashion creators. Spotlight on every single move and shaker. When the phone light up, it's a roll call. 9 to 5 street, grinding big and small. Put your brand on the head, that's a alley-oop. Got the fam tuned in, that's a walking proof.
Tap in.
From the winter grind to the summer fest. We the voice in the
What's
when
happening?
you feeling stressed. Put your logo on the wave, that's a mindset flex. If you working on the come
It's
on,
Sunday, y'all.
handle the rest.
Let's get it.
It's that grinding nation. Home Milwaukee on rotation. From the hustle to the station. We the sound of elevation. It's that grinding nation. Turn the side job to a payday. From the basements to the main stage. We the sound of elevation, yeah. Engine light, vision board, from the kitchen light. If you got that grind, we'll amplify. If you got that grind, we'll amplify. It's that grinding nation. It's that grinding nation.
Hey, what's going down, man? It's your boy Big Mont tapping in with y'all. I'm in the studio tonight on this Sunday evening, man. Doing new segments of the new show for 414 Pull Up. Reactionary video, whatever you want to call it. But it's more, we're going to start doing it on a different note. We're going to start doing it on our history of music. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do a little bit here and there. But just check it out. Check it out. Y'all can tap in and give me your comments. We on all major platforms. You can message us and everything else. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Check it out. Let's go get it, y'all. Welcome to Grinding Nation Radio. We're going to do one. This is going to be on about Jodeci, y'all. Hey, let's go get them.
JoJo, Dalvin, KC, and Devontae Swing. Jodeci.
Jodeci's music is
I know
different.
y'all seen this shit.
It's not the polished,
One of my
smooth
favorite groups of that
harmonies I
time,
hear
man.
when
You know
I
what I'm
listen to
saying?
Boys to Men, nor does it
I
have
know
the
y'all
slick
checked
sheen
it.
of a New Edition record. Jodeci's music has an edge, a rawness that's infused with emotion, but also sensuality. But even underneath that surface, there's something deeper. Devontae, KC, JoJo, and Dalvin created something that few have been able to replicate within R&B music. And within their short reign, they were able to redefine what it means to be an R&B band. This is their story.
Same thing as for Devontae, JoJo, and Mr. Dalvin. All our arrangements and everything is gospel. And that's something we can't help because we were just raised up around it every day.
Charlotte, North Carolina is known for a few things. The Panthers, the Hornets, and church. The South, especially North Carolina, is
One
filled
of
with
my favorite groups,
megachurches.
dog.
And in 1974, Reverend
Come
Donald
on now,
DeGrate
y'all know
Sr.
y'all was
founded his
down
own
with
ministry
Jodeci
on
back
that
in the
soil.
day. Don't trip.
A few years before, DeGrate had started a career as a televangelist, getting an opportunity to host his own show called Right On after working for the Christian Broadcasting Network's 700 Club. His
I
show
remember
Right
that
On
damn
became
TV
one of
show.
the first nationally syndicated
Y'all
black
remember your
gospel
mother's grandma
music
used to watch
programs
that
to air.
damn 700 Club? Come
And this
bullshit.
time on TV led him to beginning his own gospel recording career, which had been a long time coming. In his 20s, DeGrate had stuck his toe into secular music. He told journalist Lauren DeGraff for her piece in the Oxford American that he had landed himself a spot in the Motown Review until he felt a voice from above who told him, "For what
Motown.
profits a man if he gains the whole
Classics.
world but loses his own soul?" He ended up ditching the Review and choosing to stick to gospel. The Don DeGrate delegation took off in 1979 with a hit single, I Want to Be Ready. Donald's sons, Dalvin Derrick, and the oldest, Donald Earl DeGrate Jr., otherwise known
That's
as
that classic
Devontae,
family
all
shit,
played with his
dog.
band in their early teen years. They would watch as the music would be created from scratch, adding Donald Sr.'s gospel message to R&B chords and melodies. His sons were enamored with music and from their early years would freelance around town playing for gospel bands. In the 80s, Dalvin and Devontae were a part of a Christian band when they first met Joel Haley. Devontae was dating the lead singer in the band at the time, Tammy Sue Baker, the daughter of the famous televangelist Tammy Faye and Jim. Joel Haley, also known as JoJo, was a member of an ultra-religious family as well. Him and his older brother Cedric were in a gospel group named Little Cedric and the Haley Singers. Cedric, who would later go by the name Casey, was heralded as the Michael Jackson of gospel, a testament to him being such a young child with a big voice. Their family band started in Baltimore, Maryland until they picked up and moved back to their hometown close to the Charlotte area when Casey and JoJo were in high school. In a 1985 article from the New York Times, writer John Paralis stated, "The piping voice of teen-aged Cedric Haley took charge like performers 2 and 3 times his age. By the time the DeGrates and the Haleys were teenagers, they were already professionals in their craft. And although they had gospel roots, they were nothing to play with."
People keep
I believe
asking, how
that,
do we
dog.
actually get an AI agent on our team?
I
Well,
believe that, dog. I don't know, man. If y'all ever seen, I don't know, because when you check them out, you can tell them boys is about their life. Well, I don't know. Let's just keep this shit going, though. Let me see where we at.
it's easy. Watch how I do it in 60 seconds on Monday.
I wanna
First,
see that.
You know, they was like, y'all should do something. Y'all should do something. So one night we said, okay, take us to meet him. And we went to the studio they had or whatever it was. And Casey thought I was talking to one of his little girlfriends. She was in the group. And at the time, he pulled a pistol out on him. So, yeah.
And you actually became cool after that?
Well, not exactly. no, not right after that.
The DeGrates formally met, both Haley brothers, after they were recommended to link up from a local girl group.
That's
named
crazy.
Unity.
They was wilding
The
out
meeting
way
didn't
back
go
then
as
before you
planned,
got the
as
first
Casey
contract,
pulled out
huh?
a pistol on Dalvin in the studio after seeing him talking to one of the girls in the group that he was dating. Upset by what just happened, Dalvin left the studio, but Devontae stuck around, got to know the other brothers, and eventually got acquainted enough to start making music with them, mostly gospel at the time.
Crazy.
It's kind of funny. JoJo didn't want his own brother in the group either. He thought Casey had gotten enough shine in the gospel world and wanted to have something of his own this time. But Devontae loved Casey's soulfulness and wanted him in the group.
But Devontae wanted KC in the group because I wanted to get my shine up. Because in gospel, he had his shine. I wanted to walk in my own shadows, walk in my footsteps.
The DeGrate brothers weren't allowed to listen to secular music growing up. They were preachers' kids as their father founded Christ Tabernacle Pentecostal Church when they were around 3 and 5 years old. Their religious parents banned anything but gospel from the house. Dalvin said that when the kids would sneak and buy Prince or Michael Jackson records, their parents would break the tapes so they couldn't listen to them. But the boys would keep buying and listen to them in their headphones. Even though his brother didn't have the best introduction to the Haleys, Devontae kept working with them. While Casey and JoJo were focused on being vocalists, Devontae was more into production. He was said to carry around multiple keyboards like a mini recording studio around town. But one day when he was 16 years old, Devontae had a bright idea. He was going to Paisley Park. Prince was Devontae's main inspiration. He would go to Minnesota, meet Prince, and all of his musical dreams would come true. He saw the opportunity in rose, or purple, rather, colored glasses. In a 1995 Vibe article, he remembered Casey and JoJo telling him to not forget about them if he made it in Minnesota. So Devontae ran away to Chanhassen, and every day he would go to Paisley Park begging someone, anyone, to listen to his tape and put him on. But nothing. He would eventually make his way back to North Carolina, empty-handed but with a fire to prove to the world he could do this music thing. KC and JoJo were still in North Carolina when Devontae came back. There was still animosity between KC
See,
and
I never
Dalvin,
knew that.
so the Haleys and Devontae continued
Never
working
knew
as a
that.
trio
That's
at the time.
interesting shit,
Devontae
y'all.
and the
I
Haley
never
brothers
knew
moved in together.
the twins
basically
had their
living in
own
the studio
shit
that the
going,
Haley
and they the
family
ones
owned
got
in a
them
shopping
on.
center. Devontae said,
Never
I lived
knew
there
that, y'all.
5 nights a week for like a year. A lot of girls. Partied. We had a little money from our gospel gigs. I'd go home Friday nights, go to church on Sunday, and after church, go back to the studio. My parents knew where I was.
Gospel, we consider the bad boys of gospel. All of us. I don't know the switch. I don't know how they came about. We just started writing songs for girls.
Come on now, y'all. Y'all know who them boys were. I didn't know.
Even though they had
They was
gospel
the-
roots,
they
the boys
had-
dreamed of doing
just check
R&B
it out, y'all.
seriously.
I did not
By
know
this
that.
time, the gospel group commissioned had already come out and were doing something that had never been done before. Their gospel didn't sound like gospel. It sounded like what you'd hear on urban radio. Their chords, their harmonies were pure R&B with a gospel message underneath. Devontae and the Haley brothers' sound was influenced by the group. They'd take what Commission was doing and flip it.
Devontae, and we went to his church, their church in North Carolina, and he's the one that picked us up. And man, he was iced out and everything. Nobody had heard anything. He said, "Yo, I want to just tell y'all, man, y'all influenced me. If y'all would listen to some of my music, we got this group coming out."
But they needed a name for this new group, and they wanted it to be uniquely theirs. They were all sitting in the Haley family's front yard.
Wow, didn't know
In
that.
Vibe, Devontae remembered saying, "Think if we did R&B music, what would it be like?" We started imagining it and coming up with names. I never wanted anything like the Thises or the That's. I wanted to put myself in the name.
I see with that, this is another whole side of the story, man, because nobody knew Devontae had this much control of Jodeci. There was the two light-skinned brothers in back there for, I'm gonna be real, there's an eye candy for the motherfucking show, for the group, man, because they never said shit. I'm just gonna say what it is. Them boys never spoke.
So we was like, why don't we do Joe for JoJo?
Real
E
talk.
for Devontae,
They never spoke.
and C for KC. Jodeci was formed, and they were good. Really good. So good that even Dalvin now wanted to join, to which KC and the others agreed. Once Dalvin joined the group,
Yeah, I
the
remember
D
that
in their
shit.
name
No, I
would be
don't.
explained away as a shortened to great.
Oh, but let the people know, how did y'all come up with the name Jodeci?
Jodeci is like combined of three names. Like Joe is for JoJo. D is for Devontae.
What up?
And the CI is me, KC, and later on Mr. Dalvin joined the group. So we thought the name was fly, so we kept it in.
There's a sort of
See?
music urban legend.
That's
Four
what
young
I'm
guys
saying.
pile into a car headed towards the big city, get discovered, and then become rich and famous. But the story of Jodeci isn't that simple. In 1989, they all piled into Devontae's Ford Escort and headed to New York. Back then, New York was the hub
That's
for
what
the
I
music
thought.
business, and the guys needed to get discovered. By then, they had recorded a 29-song 3-tape demo that included a little bit of everything. The guys had it in their mind that their first stop would be Uptown Records. Let me tell you a little bit about Uptown. Founded in 1986 by Andre Harrell, Uptown was one of the hottest new labels at the time. 3 years later, when the Haley and DeGrate brothers were headed to their New York headquarters, they had a fully active roster consisting of Heavy D, I'll Be Sure, Guy, and more. The label was on the pulse of hip-hop and R&B music, and Jodeci wanted to be a part of that. The 8-hour drive from North
That's what I'm
Carolina to
saying,
New York was a
man.
piece of cake compared to the 5-hour trek from the
Let's see
group's
that they
hotel
keep this
in
shit
Queens
real,
to
though, y'all.
Uptown's
Let's see they
headquarters.
keep this shit real.
The boys from the South had never made their way around New York before and kept getting lost along the way. Eventually, they found the company's office and walked in hoping they didn't need an appointment. They all were wearing truck stop sunglasses, which they got on the way to the city. The guys only had $300 to their names, and everything was riding on this going well. It's said that when they first arrived, they got no love, until Heavy D, who was hanging in the office, overheard their tape and convinced Andre Harrell to let the boys sing live for him. And after singing their rough cut of Come and Talk to Me and going to dinner with Andre, Jodeci was invited to be a part of the Uptown crew that day, but they weren't officially signed until around a year later.
I got one challenge for you. Try Whisper Flow once.
I didn't know
one
all
time.
that.
And I promise you'll understand why I haven't typed the full.
Be honest, Puffy.
I
was
didn't
an
know all
intern
that, man.
At Uptown Records. And Puffy ran around, did a lot of things, learned a lot of stuff. I'm Jodeci from watching us on stage, and he's just an intern.
That's what I'm saying, y'all. This was a whole new element of Jodeci, y'all. This wasn't the story they were telling when they first came out. 'Cause I was doing DJ and everything else and watching the show like y'all. They said because the two brothers was never saying shit. You can catch this one. I'm amazed them niggas can talk because a lot of folks never even heard them two boys talking on any. They were. I'll say it again. They were the eye candy. They never led no songs. You know what I'm saying? But I was told they all could sing. and they was in church. So they could, I guess they all could sing, but I never even heard the boys. I mean, they never led any songs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. It really is.
So they cut all the what Puffy did with y'all. He was there being a cheerleader and watching how we was doing on stars, how he was able to go on stage and entertain people watching us.
Wow.
It seems like almost every
Now, y'all
artist who
caught
was in
that?
New York at the time has a connection to.
This nigga said that was kind of fucked up. Dude said Diddy took their whole style, man. And that's how he learned how to get on stage, and he took it from us. Man, wait. That just, hold on. That's in all aspects of reality. That don't sound right to me, man, because Diddy really wasn't, at that time, out there that bad until, I don't know. He wasn't, till Biggie blew the fuck up, right? I mean, because you can count on your hand you seen dude on stage with them boys, so I don't know where that shit came from. That's an interesting comment, though.
Diddy, or Puffy, as he was known then. In the same year that Jodeci showed up on their doorstep, Sean Combs had just arrived as an intern for Uptown Records. Puffy was assigned to the new group, who Andre had living in his one-bedroom apartment in the Bronx housing projects. After their trip to New York...
Yeah, now, Diddy was the golden boy at that time. You could tell, he said, they said Heavy D put them on. Heavy touched a lot of motherfuckers he didn't get no credit for. I think Diddy took a lot of dude credit, man. Because if y'all know the history between Heavy D and Diddy, they started in this entertainment field together at doing parties in college. And they had a traumatic accident at one of their huge ass parties, some college down there. I think it was in Maryland or something like that, or Virginia, or not Virginia, but money earning Mount Vernon area, some shit. It was a college party, and somehow it was over. Once again, being who we are, we want all the money. And it was overpacked. It was packed. And something what happened inside. It wasn't a fight or something, but something happened where they started trying to get out real fast and triple, but the doors wouldn't unlock, so people got crushed. A lot of kids got hurt. I remember that, because I was like, that's fucked up. Because I was one of them cats trying to be a promoter at the time, too. So I remember that part, too.
Jodeci moved back to North Carolina for a bit to gather their things until Andre called them up. The boys, preacher's kids, had been successful since they were children. So Andre wanted to toughen them up. They were scared at first, but once Uptown hooked them up with some music equipment, they were fine. Puffy was assigned to help develop Jodeci. They already had the voice. They already had the makings of their authentic sound. But they needed a vibe. They needed a look that set them apart. New Edition had their Boston swag. The Jackson 5 were all colors and sparkles. But walking into the Uptown office, Jodeci didn't look like a group just yet.
Hey, man, wait a minute. Let me say this here right here. I don't know. I think this episode was very heavily opinionated, man, because whoever did this, they basically shitting on some of the legends in music. I'm getting it. What did y'all think? Hit me on any platform, dog. We live now. I know I didn't market this right, but y'all check it out. This is
the group was introduced to the media at Uptown's Christmas party in 1990. And as writer Ronan Rowe stated, they no longer looked like gospel singers. Dressed in combat boots, baggy jeans, and backwards caps, they looked different. They looked like rappers. Dalvin and Puffy worked together on the band's overall aesthetic. They took the way the guys already dressed and tweaked it a bit.
What made Jodeci so unique, it was like we're looking at 4 Tupacs.
Most of the songs for their debut album had already been written
in North
Carolina and were already on their demo tape. Devontae wrote out all the songs inspired by his girlfriend at the time, Monica, who had left home to go to the army. He never ended up seeing her again. The only thing the group needed to do was go in and master the production. And while Puffy was helping with their overall vibe, Al B. Sure was overseeing the production and execution of the album.
Which one of you does the...
Al B. Sure got... No one said that too.
I work with Al B. Sure and a lot of people that's on there. They also work with other people like Tevin Campbell. We on Father MC, treat them like they want to be treated. And so we've been doing work for a while.
What instruments do you play?
Everything.
Everything. Yeah. That's where...
The final version of the album took about a week to produce, since most of the songs were already written. The first single, Gotta Love, was an up-tempo, hard-hitting, undoubtedly new Jack Swing record, written by KC and Devontae. It was released 10 days after Valentine's Day in 1991. In the video, the guys danced in sync wearing matching outfits while singing and rapping about taking the girl home.
Video.
But the single fizzled out, peaking at number 79 on the Billboard R&B and hip-hop singles charts. Speaking of New Jack Swing, a week later the New Jack City soundtrack was released, completely overshadowing any buzz this new group was getting, with hits like I'm Dreamin' from Christopher Williams, and even I...
Yeah, because Color Me Bad was whooping their ass. I ain't gonna lie. If y'all remember the artists back in them days, y'all, let's be real, y'all. Back in them days, them artists had their own, everybody had their own, I ain't gonna say gimmick, but their own image, their own style, their own quality. You know what I'm saying? Because the white boy, Color Me Bad, I think they had like one or two black boys in their group. I don't know, but they definitely had, that white boy could sing his ass, so he sounded like straight like a motherfucking, like he came from the hood. All them four boys can sing, but there's a back burner to what hurt them. I think what hurt them really when they came out was Boyz II Men. They couldn't hold a candle to Boyz II Men, not singing nor dancing. A lot of these them groups back in them days couldn't hold because Boyz II Men but New Edition was kicking their ass too though. That's my personal opinion, though. Check it out. Let's keep going.
Want to sex you up from Color Me Bad. If you wanted to hear some New Jack Swing, you weren't looking for it from Jodeci in February 1991. Even still, by May 1991, their first album, Forever My Lady, was released. Every song on the album was produced by Devante, mostly by himself, otherwise with Al B. Sure. The album was well received by critics. Entertainment Weekly said if they can keep up the momentum of this commercially successful debut, which has already gone top 40 on the Billboard Pop Album chart, Jodeci will be a force to be reckoned with. The album debuted at number 1 on the top R&B albums and peaked at number 18 on the US Billboard 200 charts, even without a smash single yet.
Forever, my lady.
That put them on. That's the Arsenio Hall show. I think it's Arsenio Hall show. I think it was. It reminded me of Arsenio Hall.
It's like a dream.
He looked so innocent back there. That little brother, like, man, I just want to sing. Him too, like he's surprised too.
When you think of love, you think of Jodeci. Let's go.
I remember this shit, man. No, that's not. That was not. Hold on, let me get that shit correct.
Game.
That was not.
You're not ready for it.
That was not.
Sure, and the guys
hold on, let me get that shit correct. That was not. Arsenio Hall. I'm thinking that was more in a line of Rap City or some shit like that. One of them shows, you know. And you know what? I think Dewey had a checker pass too, right there. Andre Harrell. See, there's something about dog that make you think I gotta watch that nigga right there.
We're in the studio one day. Al
This is
had an
my
idea
personal
for one of the
opinion.
tracks
Don't
they
get
were
me
working
twisted.
on. It needed lyrics that would really hook listeners in, and it would be an ode to his then girlfriend Kim Porter, who was pregnant with his firstborn son at the time. Initially, the guys didn't like the subject matter of the song. Casey didn't want to sing it, and Uptown didn't know how it would look having barely 20-year-old guys singing about having children. But the song was a jam, and capitalizing off the group's recent exposure on the BET flagship show Video Soul,
That put them
they took
on.
a big swing and released
Forever
the
My
ballad
Lady
as
put
their
them
next single.
on. I'll be real with that. That
Forever
put them
My
on.
Lady was released in
Them-
August and
everybody,
quickly took
hold on,
off.
let me pause this shit again.
The song
y'all.
was immediately
It was an immediate hit because everybody and their mama had on them damn jackets with the boots. I remember niggas down at the lakefront wearing that shit. Hot as fuck. They had on them black ass combat boots and them hoodies. But you know, us as brothers in the city niggas, we had to get different colors and all. We had different colors. We had I think that's where the crossover shit came from too, though, fam. Cause them boys were trends. I give Diddy that much. He had a post on clothing or swag when it comes to the urban or hip hop era.
hit, peaking at number 1
I'll
on the
give him
US
that
Billboard
much.
R&B singles charts. Jodeci followed up Forever My Lady with Stay, which was also a smash on the R&B charts and was their second number 1. But the fourth single from the album would be their biggest hit yet. Come and Talk to Me was the group's third number 1 R&B hit and peaked at number 11 on the US Billboard chart.
God, I remember
The
them
single
damn
was released in
painted
March
on clothes.
1992.
Remember the
By that
Levi's,
time,
y'all?
the album had been out for almost a year.
The
and
whole
was already
Levi
3
fit,
times
they
platinum.
still rocking
The
that shit, I
remix was
think.
produced by Puffy. It was the first record he ever produced because Teddy Riley, who was supposed to be the main producer, didn't show up to the studio.
Teddy Riley, once again, that's the third time I heard that nigga name. They said he was difficult to work with, y'all.
I am partly.
Swing, do you speak up? Come on, wake up, let's go.
This is my girl group sister, and this is Tornado. They's hanging out with us today. They're here in Washington doing the album. So you hear from them in January.
All right.
Devontae, who is a producer
That's
at heart,
Devontae
decided
pushing
to
his own
form a crew of
brand.
musicians called Swing Mob.
I
The
heard.
group would
Hold
meet in
on.
Swing's basement studio in
hold
Rochester
on, hold on.
and would also be.
They said Devontae had issues, y'all. I remember hearing that all the way to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They said that he thought he was like Prince, man. He thought he was a new. Is that okay? I gotta put the correct one out, getting on my ass. I'm talking shit. I heard some teens. If you follow Missy Elliott and they're saying dude had some goons walking around here and beating up all the artists and all that shit, so they couldn't leave. Missy Elliott, Genuine, Aaliyah. He had his own little clique tied up and manhandled at his own. Let's keep watching, y'all. They might bring it up. I don't know. They said he was terrible, dog. He that shit went to his head fast.
Known as the Basement Crew.
There
Swing
you go.
Mob included the group
That was
sister,
a
which
click
featured
name.
Missy Elliott,
Missy
Timbaland,
Elliott.
Genuine, Tweet, Static Major, and many others. Casey was also doing his own thing. As the lead singer of the group, his star power had risen to extreme heights. Apart from being the consummate star of the group and writing for other acts like Ralph Tresvant, he caught the eye of his label mate, Mary J. Blige. The two crossed paths while Mary was recording her 1992 album, What's the 411.
Oh, I'm gonna hold that one too. They said Casey was beating the shit out of her too, man. Beating her up, man. She's a beautiful young lady. I don't know how. That's the entertainment game, man. If y'all don't know about the music industry, especially in New York, man, they call that shit Grammy for a reason, y'all. I heard some bad things about her too, man. She's a beautiful young lady. Well, I heard a lot of bad things about her too, just doing us in Milwaukee when they would be touring and shit. I'll leave it at that.
And began dating shortly after.
Went through the hottest niggas in the country right now. I finally got him to come down. We're at the Kiss party still.
I remember Bellamy, yeah.
And I got Miss Mary, James, Blige. How y'all get that little duet together, Mary?
You know, it was the label thing. You know, we was on the.
Oh, like you ain't want to sing with him, like he can't hit a note. Hello.
Look, the boy can sing, no doubt.
No
Okay?
doubt.
But it was a label thing.
Tell
you
she
know?
was scared.
And we were label mates, and
She
they
didn't
were
wanna
just
look at the
asking if
camera.
we do a song together. Like the label was
And
asking.
it's a sweet one too.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
tell 'em what
crazy,
to
y'all.
I don't want to
He
do
fucking with her,
anything
y'all.
else.
That got her beat up.
Dalvin, now known to the world as Mr. Dalvin, was getting some celebrity
got her
love
beat up
too.
right there.
The crew went on tour with MC Hammer during this time with opening acts Boys to Men and TLC. Dalvin and Tion T-Boz Watkins met each other on tour and started dating.
This is probably unnecessary, but why don't we start here and introduce ourselves?
Hi, I'm Devontae.
Losing his mind for the coochie. Now this is the Arsenio Hall show I said.
And JoJo is working with us.
Jodeci was the hottest male R&B group out at the time.
Yeah.
And they each had their own
I
personas.
told you it was a hoodie,
Casey
dog.
and
It was a
JoJo had
hoodie
the
and the
voices.
combat boots.
Devontae was
Don't
the
get it
musical
twisted.
savant, and Dalvin had all the girls. But with all that fame
That's
and
what I'm
commercial
saying. They
success,
never
the group
talked
didn't
that
feel
much.
appreciated by the label. The group was starting to see artists with less success as them on other labels with flashy cars and jewelry, and they felt like they deserved more.
Name some groups, my nigga.
I think if your parents heard the album, they would be very proud. I think they'd be very proud because you're a classy group of guys.
By the time they started
Arsenio
recording
Hall
for their
was selling that
sophomore
shit,
album, the
wasn't he?
guys were known nationwide, topping the charts and had posters on every young girl's walls. But their families didn't approve. They would
Yeah, Marty
visit their
Marr.
home church, sometimes with Puffy or Aaron Hall, and hang their heads.
Hey, hold on, dog. If y'all ever caught the episode when Jodeci was on Martin, and he snuck backstage with the outfit on, and it was like, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. What dog say? Knick knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Hilarious, dog. Martin
They would try to
genius.
get their parents
I'm gonna
to
do
listen
one
to
on
their music,
Martin
but it
too, though,
wouldn't
y'all.
happen, even though the
Because
world
he was
approved.
ahead of his time,
At the time,
y'all.
their families didn't. Also in April 1993, Casey and Devontae, both 23 years old, were accused of assault when a woman claimed that she was fondled by Casey as Devontae pointed a firearm at her. In
Told
the
you.
press, the men claimed the girl was upset that there was a firearm in the house and that no one would take her home, so she made up a story about being assaulted.
Told
But
you.
they both pleaded guilty, Devontae to gun charges and Casey to sexual contact.
Are y'all crazy?
False, definitely false.
And it's like, you know, I guess when you're in the spotlight, so to speak, as we are, you become a target, you know. As far as like, it got anybody.
Now, I do,
like,
hold on.
As far as, you know, it got.
Okay, I do believe that, man, because even now to this day, some artists can't even travel around the country without being robbed, stuck up. You got young ladies setting motherfuckers in the hotel. They go into clubs and get these. Why they got rid of Freaknik? It wasn't all because it was out there bad. It was a lot of bad shit happening there, Freaknik, y'all. And I do believe to this day, a lot of artists can't travel without an entourage of goons to protect them and they to make them feel safe. Because don't worry, we're gonna bring all that shit up on 414 Pull-Up, because all this shit finna get aired the fuck out, man. We're gonna bring all this shit because there's a lot of shit. I'm watching videos and they saying the same thing I was saying when I was out here doing my thing. A lot of cities had no-fly zones. It wasn't just Detroit, y'all. Man, you better check in with somebody and cut a check, motherfucker.
Happened to you. Anybody can say, well, Donnie Simpson did this, and you just got to defend yourself whether he did it or not. And, you know, some people gonna say, well, he had it, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. You know, it's gonna go back and forth, but the allegation's definitely false, and we just got to take care of it.
Pray for her.
Yeah.
Got something to sell? Your store, your way. Easier than ever with SiteGround e-commerce. Start with a high-converting template. Customize it with an intuitive editor. Add your products in minutes. Set up.
While recording their second album, the guys started to feel increasingly unhappy with their situation at Uptown. They wanted to get paid. So they began to get acquainted with
Marion Suge Knight,
founder of Death Row Records and industry strongman.
Now, that's another whole ball of wax, because y'all know in that era, Suge had a lot of motherfuckers shook. They never seen that kind of hostile takeover type shit in music. And y'all remember all that kind of shit, right? So let's keep it going.
Known for his violence and tendency of strong-arming people, Knight was someone who you didn't want to be on their bad side. Jodeci began hanging out around his crew and even considered leaving Uptown for Death Row Records. But they had an album to put out first. Plus, Knight helped JoJo get out of a sticky situation after a night out with one of the kings of R&B. JoJo, Casey, Dalvin, actor Tyron Turner, and Bobby Brown were all in a nightclub when Bobby started popping off telling the guys how Jodeci couldn't f with New Edition. The entire night, Bobby kept jawing about how New Edition was better, despite JoJo telling him to chill.
JoJo saying, I'm tired of this shit, tired of your consumption. And so JoJo out the limo, Bobby Brown in the limo. As Bobby Brown as he's getting out of the limo, JoJo just fired on him. Bam! After that, it was.
I believe that because JoJo, like, they say JoJo was hot head
because it was already. He didn't have a chance to defend himself like that. But yeah, JoJo took off.
The next day, Bobby spins back ready to get his payback. JoJo called Knight, and he ended up fighting Bobby's associate Big West to prevent the two superstars from going at it again.
This happened backstage. First of all, I get hit before everyone else. And
yo, dumbass not knowing it's from the pop off nigga.
In June of 1993, Uptown produced an MTV Unplugged, which featured all of the active artists on the label. During the taping, the group performed a cover of Lately by Stevie Wonder, which promptly shot up the charts after the special air.
You know what? I'm gonna do that one too, y'all.
Jodeci's highest peaking pop
I remember
hit,
that episode.
reaching number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 in August 1993. During the Unplugged performance, Casey also sang the Devontae-written Mary J. Blige duet, I Don't Want to Do Anything, and watching it, you could cut the tension with a knife.
Jodeci still winning awards, man, because they were hot.
Diary of a Mad Band was released in 1993, and in retaliation to their conversations with Death Row Records, Andre Harrell and Uptown decided to do zero promotion for the album. Despite that, the album went #1 on the R&B charts.
I remember that too.
And Cry For You,
Told
the
you,
lead
Andre,
single, was the
hold
5th
on.
consecutive and final #1 for the group.
Hold on, y'all. I remember, see, a lot of that shit trickles down to us industry low breed motherfuckers, those who just DJing and those who are in that environment, dog. I remember all that shit. I told y'all earlier, Andre Harrell looked as shiesty as fucking he was. He was behind a lot of dirty shit that's coming out now. Rest in peace, though, bro. But yeah, he was out here bad, y'all. I mean, everything that he doing now, a lot of folks saying he learned that from Andre Harrell. That's just my opinion, and I approve this message.
The guys also had a new look, ditching the denim suits for leather and tattoos. John Mulvey from NME commented his thoughts on the group, saying that they look like rejects from the Dog Pound and sound about as mean as Luther Vandross.
Buying that
They
shit,
showed
was
up
buying
for the
that
3rd
shit.
annual Billboard Awards, sporting their new vibe, carrying a machete and wearing face masks. They had officially branded themselves as the Bad Boys of R&B.
I remember that shit too.
With no promotion of the album, Diary of a Mad Band went certified platinum. Unlike Forever My Lady, Diary of a Mad Band was not reviewed as positively by critics. Allmusic called it jarring and mismatched, and others thought some of the more explicit records were in poor taste.
You know what? Hold up. That was Harrell and them doing that shit because they wanted out their country to go to Death Row. I remember that shit. They really shitted on that project, but them boys they were that hot that you had to give them niggas they credit. They were that hot. It still went double platinum, getting shitted on. That was unheard of. Because back in them days, you needed radio. And y'all know how I went back there. If the label wasn't pushing your shit, you wasn't getting no airplay. They took all that shit down to Vegas every year and paid them off to make sure, stations off to make sure they should get played.
Devontae had produced most of this album as well, with Dalvin solely producing the Jodicidal Hotline track. Devontae also invited some of Swing Mob to collaborate on the album, with Missy and Timbaland featuring on a few tracks, as well as the rapper Redman. The album was more experimental than their previous project, as exemplified in their second single, Phenin', whose Hype Williams directed video was shot in a mental asylum, and Snoop Dogg, the primary Death Row artist at the time, makes a cameo.
One of my bodyguards, he's getting ready to walk me to my band.
Irritate the shit out of me, y'all.
On the night of July 23rd, 1993, Dalvin's friends had surprised him at the studio with a birthday party. Everyone was there except for one person, his brother. It was unlike Devontae to not show up, especially to the studio. The guys continued their night, but as time passed, they started to feel uneasy. The guys rushed to Devontae's house, only to find him tied up and beaten bloody. He had been the victim of a home invasion. During the robbery, Devontae was viciously beaten and pistol whipped, which caused his skull to split. He fought back and bit off the finger of one of his attackers. But they had ran off with over $20,000 worth of jewelry. There's speculation that this may have had something to do with the Death Row and Uptown drama, but none of it had been substantiated.
I heard about
Whoever
that shit too.
Had to have been close enough to Swing, that they knew exactly where he was going to be at that time.
To get inside the spot.
Cartoons make complex ideas easy to
realistically, to be
understand, and
honest
are
with y'all,
incredibly effective at teaching and selling. But instead of telling you about how amazing Toonby really is, why don't I just
Right here, kid. Yeah, I am. You're
But to be honest, in New York, it's a lot of grimy motherfuckers, man. And yo, itinerary is easily found out because somebody you fucking with, whether they fucking mouth too much, too nice in advance, and I know where you laying your head at that night. That's some real shit. I heard about that shit too.
TV Raps, we up in this piece.
Yeah.
This is it, Bad Boy
Bad
Entertainment.
Boy
huh?
Entertainment, no doubt.
Also in 1993, Puffy was fired
They
from
said that's
Uptown
who
Records.
says who did that shit.
Andre claimed there couldn't be two kings in the castle.
Yep.
Even though he...
Now from what I heard was Diddy had something to do with them boys getting beat because one of the chick he's fucking with, one of Dalvin, or what dude name was. And you know how y'all know his history now. He don't like no motherfucking man being wanted by somebody he fucking with. Even though he was married, he didn't get no fucking. Diddy was wild, man, too. And he ran New York at that time.
He was fired. Puffy still executive produced Mary J. Blige's 1994 My Life album, an album about heartbreak, pain, and KC.
And that was a nightmare in itself, the whole
Yeah, that's when Casey jumped on her and beat her up.
situation.
She was doing
and
some
My
wild
Life
shit too. I heard about that.
Stemmed from so much hurt, like from there.
Mary has claimed that their relationship was extremely toxic and filled with abuse. I was in a relationship where we were both young and both super successful. I loved him, but neither one of us could handle the success of our lives. In 1995, Mary was on the British television show, The Word, donning a ring that Casey had...
Also, man, I feel so bad for her because she out here making her life the best way she can. And it was, Pac said something foul about her ass too, man. I didn't like, that's one time Pac was going through his shit, showing out and shit, and he said something nasty about her. I didn't like. I'm not going to address that on the show, on this episode, though, because it should never have been said.
given her. Mary thought it was an engagement ring, until she was publicly humiliated by him on the show.
I have to ask this really quickly. Jodie C were on the show earlier on in the series, and Terry asked Casey this question. Have a look at this.
Now you're going to break a few hearts
She
because
should have slapped shit out,
you're going to
dog.
marry Mary J. Blige, aren't you? No!
That's a rumor. You know what I'm saying? That's a rumor for the States, too, you know. Casey is not getting married.
Now, Was
And
he
that's
being super
embarrassing.
cool or what? Are you getting married?
No, we're not getting married.
I was just going to say, I'm very glad
No,
to
we're
hear
not
that,
getting
man.
married. We're not getting married.
They try to put her on blast.
Mary knew right then
to
that she
sell
should
records.
leave the
You
relationship,
could tell
but
it
the two
fucked
would
her up.
officially split around a year later. Casey would go on to acknowledge his shortcomings,
Then he come back
claiming
and
he
beat
didn't
her
know
up.
how to handle a relationship at that stage in his life.
Number
'Cause
one, I
she's
was
so-
young.
Look at him. Look how
We
he
both
looking
was
at her.
young. And our careers were colliding like that. And I mean, like I said, we was young, man, and I wasn't ready to settle down, especially with my career taking off and her career taking off. It just wasn't gonna mix. It wasn't gonna happen. But I did, and I always will love her.
By July 1995, the show The After
And what that situation was, fam, word started circulating. She was fucking with Pac and everybody else in the industry from just, they said she was getting around. She had a lot of dates, put it that way, with the folks. A lot of Southern folks get down like that. It's just like Fantasia. They all have fun, you know, to the fun. It's not fun no more, you know? And she was one of the first ones to get caught with that kind of bullshit. And then putting it on her name like that, you know?
Party, The Hotel, Jodeci's third and final album on Uptown Records, was released. Like with all of their other projects, Devontae handled most of the production. The album peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and was the third album from the group to reach number 1 on the top R&B albums chart. In 2 months, the album was certified platinum. The album was raw, edgy, and grown. It made the tracks on Forever My Lady sound like hymnals. The lead single, Freakin' You, peaked at number 3 on the R&B charts.
All night long. I wanna freak you. I wanna freak you.
Genuine, a member of Swing Mob, recalled Devontae locking himself in the studio when recording the track. He said Devontae locked himself up in his studio for about a week.
After he
When
got
I
his
say
ass
locked up,
jumped,
I mean, he was sort of
he
like
was
in jail.
terrified of
He wouldn't
everybody,
come out
man.
the
He was
room.
wild. I remember that shit.
Speaking of Swing Mob, by the time
He
Jodeci's
trusted
third
nobody.
album came around, the cracks were starting to show for that team. Members of the crew, like Sista, had released projects, but none had
He
commercial
trusted
success.
nobody, y'all.
Also, it's alleged that Devontae was becoming more physically and mentally abusive to the group.
All right, so all of them was in the studio. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? He walk in, he's smacking everybody. Genuine, Timbaland, Missy.
What, literally smacking
them?
No.
Are we saying Devontae was the R&B Suge Knight?
Yeah.
This is what we're
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See what I'm
Devontae
saying,
had
y'all? I
reportedly
wasn't making
changed
this
a
shit
lot
up.
since his home invasion back in 1993. They all had. Former Uptown executive Virgil Sims said, Jodeci were no longer church boys, they were like rock and rollers.
Terrible.
Trashing hotels, being wild. When they were on stage, they were on. But off stage, it was chaotic. They were always respectful to me, but there was also a crazy side. Devontae was fully embracing the rock star
Money, money,
lifestyle,
money.
even
He was
briefly dating
terrified, y'all.
Madonna. In a 1995 interview, he called her one of the most beautiful people I know. But Dalvin's relationship with T-Boz was getting rocky. They just didn't
I
seem to be
remember
on the
that
same
shit.
page, and him being a natural ladies' man didn't help at all. In her memoir, she detailed a night where she had to put one of his other chicks in her place. While Dalvin was
Fighting
back
for that
home visiting in
motherfucker.
Charlotte, he fell asleep on the phone, to which she heard a woman on the other line walking into his room. The woman ended up picking up Dalvin's phone and words were exchanged between her and T-Boz.
See what I'm
I
saying?
hung up, threw on a t-shirt, sweatpants, and sneakers.
we
I grabbed
gonna
a
beat that
taser,
chick
his pen that
ass.
could transform into a knife and $5,000 in cash for bail, and left my house at 5 a.m. I got on the first flight out of
Crazy.
Atlanta an hour later. She made it to Dalvin's hotel, and after tricking the clerk into giving her an extra key to his room, she entered room 420 in a fit of rage. She immediately started attacking the girl, who was in his bed, so much so that she broke her own hand and the girl ended up in the hospital.
Woo, she fucked
Dalvin
that girl
claimed she
up.
was asleep and the other woman entered his room without him knowing. The girl, who
stop it,
T-Boz
player.
calls Mimi in her book as a pseudonym, threatened to press charges but eventually dropped the lawsuit.
She
And
paid her
eventually
off.
T-Boz and Dalvin broke up because they were toxic, to say the least. By 1995, the East Coast-West Coast beef was in full swing. In August of that year, a month after the show, the after party, The
that was
Hotel
wild.
Drop, the second annual Source Awards, was hosted in New York, where this legendary moment happened.
Now, I remember that. Hold up. I pause.
While in New York, and reportedly without paying
I remember that shit too. 'Cause if you didn't choose a side, they was on your ass like peanut butter, man. Not the Midwest. We are all Midwest. Pretty much at that time was like all neutral territory. But if you was on East Coast and West Coast, they better not have caught your ass on their part of their country. You know what I'm saying? Of their coast. Put it that way. I remember that night when they did that shit in New York. The Source, Man, I believe personally the Source magazine was pushing that shit to sell magazines. Real talk, from the CEO on down, they're hyping that shit up, and a lot of folks got hurt and killed over that shit. Let's go.
Uptown, Knight was able to get the releases of Jodeci and Mary J. Blige from the label. It's alleged that his confrontation with Andre got physical, but I can't confirm. When him and Puffy were cool, Knight allegedly tried to get him to press Andre into letting go of their contracts, but Puff was too scared to ask. The acts all signed with West Coast management. The group claimed they started making 3 times what they were getting at Uptown under Knight's management company. But being that they were brought up with Puffy and were now all cool with Death Row, this caused some tension between the guys and Bad Boy.
Hey man, can you share your #1 tip for business success?
Switch to Monday CRM.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Hold up. You're thinking about old school.
And
shit.
when Puff called me, he's like, man, what side you are? I said, man, I'm from the South. Puff, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the South. I'm not from the... I'm from the South.
Get involved with that
The
shit.
show,
You get
the
hurt. You
after
live
party,
down.
the
You
hotel
live
rolled
there
out a
in
few more
Baltimore.
singles like Love You for Life and the Dalvin-produced Get On Up, which Devontae hated because he claimed it was too happy. Swing Mob was in disarray and eventually dissolved in 1995. Artists like Timbaland, Genuine, and Missy ventured off and
They all
formed their own
threatened to sue his
conglomerate,
ass and
which they
send him
called
to
the
jail.
Super Friends. So much had changed since 1989, when the 2 sets of brothers packed into that Ford and headed for the big city. They were now famous,
Crazy.
and although not filthy rich, they had enough money. But they had demons that fame and fortune could not fix. In 1994, the guys began working with Death Row artists on features. Their first
Pac and
foray into
Snoop.
the West Coast crew was on Snoop Dogg's Murder was the Case soundtrack. Casey and JoJo also
Remember
sang
that
the
shit
hook
too?
on Tupac's hits, How Do You Want It, and Toss
How
It
do
Up.
you want it?
But as
Yeah.
far as Jodeci tracks went, by 1996, everything had slowed up for the 4. Devontae just stopped showing up to sessions.
Everybody wants to know what's up with Jodeci. Let's just start with that first.
That's the
I remember that
question
shit,
that's going
fam.
around the world.
Yeah.
Jodeci is not breaking up. You know, we just, doing separate things right now. JoJo and myself, we had the Love Always album. We doing that.
Jodeci insists they didn't break up after their 1995 album, but it sure felt like it to fans, and Casey and JoJo needed to do something while the group was on hiatus. The brothers released their first joint, Love Always, in 1997, which sold over 2 million units and had the duo's first and only #1 hit with the masterpiece All My Life. The ballad was #1 on the US Billboard Hot 100 for 3 consecutive weeks, something Jodeci never achieved. By this time, their mother had a change of heart and decided to embrace their music.
Because they're making a lot of money at that
Love Always
time,
album
y'all.
came up because I did it with my brother. As long as I'm with my brother, as long as I can look to my right or my left and see my brother beside me, I'm happy.
Reverend DeGrade eventually acknowledged his son's impact as well, saying, "I don't listen to it as a rule, but Devontae did change the sound of R&B music." Dalvin was also doing his own thing. In 2000, he signed to his brother's ex-Madonna's label and released his album Metamorphic. It had moderate success, but didn't chart. During this hiatus, the group started to have an array of very public setbacks. Casey and JoJo both admitted to being alcoholics. The cracks started to show in Casey's foundation when
And
during
you
a
know
Jingle Bell
what,
concert in
dog?
2000.
Real talk, man. And you know what? That's some real brotherly love, because they both went to rehab together. Every time they went there together, man. That's that brotherly love you can't fuck with, man. When you drunk, I'm a drunk too. Fuck, let's go kick it. Let's go. We going to rehab.
2000, he exposed himself to the crowd 2 songs into his set. In 2001, he was sentenced to probation for that incident.
I remember that fucked up shit.
Casey and
He was
JoJo were
losing
also
it.
arrested for tax evasion in 2003. The men pled guilty to misdemeanors and were sentenced to give back pay. In the years that followed, there would be multiple stories about Casey and JoJo's antics in the media. In 2010, after finding it hard to book gigs due to their reputation, the men decided to do a TV1 reality series about their journey to sobriety in hopes to clean up their image. Devontae was always the enigma of the group and maintained a pretty low-key image other than some gossip scuttlebutt here and there, until in November 2010, he was arrested in a Subway restaurant for public intoxication.
See what I'm saying?
The guy's party
Black rock
lifestyle
star
was starting
shit.
to catch up to them. These incidents marked a turning point for Jodeci as they were forced to confront the consequences of their actions and the impact it had on their careers.
And a lot of times they're saying that was Death Row fucking their mind up, because when you get that kind of money in the game, you get somebody next to you want to fund you everything. And your worst habits you ever have come out 10 times 10 because they want it to come out to get more dirt on your ass. So when you don't do what they want you to do, they it's all, there you go. There you go. Because if you don't do it, they got a year or two of fuckboy shit on tape. It's your ass. Do it or go to jail.
The public began to see them not just as musical icons, but as men grappling with the demons that fame had amplified. But they were dealing with the price of fame in front of our eyes, and the road to healing is bound to have a few bumps. In February 2014, Timbaland announced he was working on Jodeci's 4th album. In November of that year, Jodeci reunited and performed a medley of their classic songs at the 2014 Soul Train Awards.
And that put them back
Their 4th
on,
album,
y'all.
The Past, the Present, the Future, was released on March 31st, 2015.
That one song.
It was their first album in 20 years. Devontae assisted in producing every song on this album and was featured in the credits under the moniker X1500. The album got moderately positive reviews and peaked at number 2 on the R&B
And they
charts.
got the tour off that shit.
And although the group looked different than what fans saw in the 90s, they were back like they never left. The guys are still performing
give
together,
Monica her
recently
credit,
just
'cause she
completing a
put them
sold-out
back in
residency in
limelight.
Vegas at the House of Blues.
Give her credit.
Ain't nobody perfect. Anybody can
Give her
slip,
her credit,
you know what
y'all.
I'm saying? Anybody can slip and make a wrong decision or whatever. But, you just got to stay focused. You just got to, and then you'll be all right. You'll be straight. So we try to do.
It's funny, there's a thin line between R&B
Let me
and
get that
gospel
right. Give her her credit, y'all.
Tweak a lyric or a change of melody here, and you could be listening to either a commissioned record or a Jodeci record. The DeGrate
put
and
them
Haley
back in
brothers
spot.
straddled that line. While Casey had depth in his voice that made you react like the words of a Pentecostal reverend, the nature of a Jodeci record was anything but safe for Sundays. Their rugged image paved the way for acts like Chris Brown and Usher to ditch the sparkly suits and be themselves on their records. The former Choir Boys revolutionized R&B music with a fresh, unparalleled vibe. Devontae, Dalvin, Casey, and JoJo made Pleading for Love look effortlessly cool. Their unique style brought an unmatched realness to R&B that no group has surpassed since. The brothers from North Carolina transformed the music industry forever. So when you see acts like Chris Brown, Four Bats, and
You know where
even
it
Drake
came
dressing how they
from.
want to dress and sounding as raw and expressive as they want to sound, remember this. They were all members of the Church of Jodeci.
I give them that much. I can't say they wasn't, but I'm gonna leave it at that, But yeah, let me get my camera back on. Okay. Thank y'all for tapping in tonight, man. That's just a quick heartbeat. I'm gonna do a lot more segments like this because I want to reminisce with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember a lot of this shit, and I was actually involved with a lot. When they came to Milwaukee, I did a lot of shit with these motherfuckers, man. So, hey, thank you for tapping in tonight, man. It's your boy Ghetto Child. This is 414 Pull Up. We're gonna do a lot more episodes. I got a lot because now I'm excited because I know for a fact. I know a lot of this shit was happening, and now it's like, if you think about it, it makes sense because it's relevant to today. And you got, like I said, that Fly Zone shit still goes on now. And that East Coast, West Coast hurt a lot of acts, man. Not just them. The most dominant acts made their money, and they wasn't getting fucked with. But if you didn't choose a side, believe it or not, when you brought your ass to these little Midwest, down south, like Texas and all that shit, where they have family and friends at, that shit popped off, man. And it didn't make the news. So, thank you for tapping in tonight, man. It's your boy Ghetto Child. I appreciate every last one of y'all for tapping in on my little segment.
I love you. Thank you so much. Letting us know
that y'all impart into us. Welcome to Ground Nation Radio, and thank y'all for tapping in. And if y'all go anywhere else, let y'all know we care.
Yo, 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 yo. You're in the mix.
World's finest, man.
Welcome to Grinder Nation. And we out, y'all.
And we shouldn't be angry. And my raps that I'm rapping
this
to my
track right
community shouldn't be filled with rage. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't be filled with
I'm
the
gonna
same
get out here now,
process
y'all.
that they
'Cause
gave me.
I don't want to fuck up my feed. So thank you. You're all far too kind. And have a good night, y'all.